Jonathan Lee Riches investigates, reporting from Torrance, California. There was a mass shooting here, folks, January 4th, 2019. And an individual by the name of Reginald Wallace was convicted for killing 3 people inside this bowling alley. Gang related, but this is interesting, folks. I'm going to give you some information. And just this bowling alley shut down, by the way. There's a big fence outside this location. Let me spin the camera around, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what happened here in Torrance, California. This is on the west coast, a little south of Los Angeles. It's not far from the Pacific Coast, people. Gable House Bowling. And it looks like this place is torn down or not functionable anymore. You can still see the bowling pins. Gable House Bowling. Got dumpsters out here, trash out here. So there was a mass shooting here. Multiple people killed, and a guy did it. And he also got a life in prison sentence. So let me give you some information about this Reginald Wallace guy. What went down and why. Check it out.
A Los Angeles man who opened fire on gang rivals in a crowded bowling alley in Torrance, killing 3 people and wounding 4 others, was sentenced Friday, September 30th to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Reginald Leander Wallace, 51, was convicted in June for the murders of Michael Deshaun Radford, 20, Aston Kyle Edwards, 28, and Robert Earl Meekins Jr., 28, after jurors deliberated for about 2 hours. The 3 men were described by family members as trying to break up a fight that involved 2 groups of people inside Torrance's Gable House Bowl just before midnight, January 4, 2019. Edwards and Meekins were best friends, their family members said. Meekins and Radford were fathers. Of the 4 wounded, 2 were hospitalized, while the other 2 sought medical attention on their own. Michelle Miller gives a statement through tears as victim advocate Anton Norman lends support. Reginald Leander Wallace was sentenced Friday, September 30, 2022 in Torrance Superior Court for 3 counts of first-degree murder and 4 counts of attempted murder for shooting at a brawling crowd at Gable House Bowl in Torrance in January 2019. He received life sentence without possibility of parole. Prosecutors relied heavily on cell phone and surveillance video inside the crowded bowling alley to make their case. A cell phone video captured from the north side of the bowling alley showed the brawl going back and forth near the front counter and an arcade that splits lanes on both sides. Wallace, with his back turned to the cell phone, was seen walking toward one of the front entrances. As the brawl came closer to the north lanes, Wallace grabbed a handgun from his right pocket, took 2 steps forward, extended his right arm toward the crowd and shot 11 times before pocketing the weapon and casually walking outside. As he fired, he held a styrofoam cup with brandy in his left hand. Torrance police later found that cup in a planter area in front of a nearby 7-Eleven. Wallace was eventually picked up by the same group of friends that took him to the bowling alley, but went back to the area hours later to look for a cell phone he had dropped, he testified. Wallace, who had previous convictions for murder as a minor, possessing a firearm in a school zone and assault with a deadly weapon, took the stand and claimed he was in fear for his life after he saw Edwards reach into his pocket during the brawl. Though police found a gun in Edwards' right pants pocket, surveillance video of the melee did not show him reaching for his pocket. Wallace, a self-described gang associate, said he went to the bowling alley with friends to celebrate one of their birthdays. He admitted during questioning by prosecutors that he knew ahead of the fight that rival gang members were in the bowling alley. Wallace also told a fellow inmate in a recorded jailhouse conversation that he positioned himself directly under a surveillance camera before the shooting, thinking he wouldn't be seen. The fight started between 2 groups of women near a food pickup area and soon grew to include about 15 men, officials have said. What started the fight was never discussed during trial. Wallace was arrested 2 days after the shooting in Koreatown and has remained behind bars since. He spent most of his adult life in prison. his public defender, Scott Johnson, citing Wallace's upbringing around violence and drugs and without true role models, argued for the special circumstance allegations to be taken off, giving Wallace a chance at the possibility of parole. Judge Tony Cho, noting the degree of viciousness and callousness, opted not to strike the sentencing enhancements. Gable House Bowl has been a popular South Bay hangout for more than 50 years, but that run appears to be coming to an end after the city's planning commission in August approved its demolition to make way for a mixed-use residential and retail development with 218 units. The groundbreaking was scheduled for sometime in the middle of next year, and the new development, which will keep the name Gable House, was anticipated to open in mid-2025.
So we say no to violence on JLR Investigates. It's off a main road here. I didn't know there was gangs around here. Better watch out, right? Better watch out walking around out here. I don't want to get myself shot in an area. This whole parking lot's fenced up. It's next to a few businesses here. Taekwondo, tofu, doggy details, hair salon, co-work, laser tag. There's some businesses out here, right? Am I in gang territory? Are we talking about Bloods and Crips in this area? Yeah, they shut this entire bowling alley down. And you can see it right there. Look, Gable House Bowling. Gable House Bowling. Look like a big bowling alley. Subscribe to my channel, like, hit the notification button, bringing you true crime in Southern California. Busy road right here. We will talk soon, and check out all my true crime adventures on JLR Investigates. We cover true crime 24/7, 365. We'll talk soon. Stay tuned.